but also like a stumbling block at the same time for the same cause. And I believe all these things are playing together. All these things are playing together to waste the people's time, to conceal what is really happening. And at the end of the day, these people gain. I mean, if Rigathi goes home and he goes home with his millions, I mean, he has nothing to lose, you know. And what if he's also connected with other things? The other thing that I wanted to bring up was, I think there's a greater hand than what we see. All this is, I would say, is my conspiracy. A conspiracy would only need to be proven wrong, you know. So I think there's like a bigger hand somewhere, a greater interest that is being served by, I would call it, for lack of better words, a greedy sort of leadership that would that do not really care for the livelihoods of the wananchi, and so they are so quick to serve their masters. I wonder, our minerals, the great value that we have as a country, people out there know how wealthy we are, and it's like we don't even know how wealthy we are ourselves, you know. And you see how they have really serious interests in our lands, in our agriculture, and all these things, these sort of controls and stuff. I wonder, could these people be, really pushing stuff? I wonder who benefits. Is that my time out?
Yeah, you can land in 1 minute. Wacha nikue kama waiter. 1 minute.
Thank you. I wonder who benefits the most with something like an extension of a change from 5 years to 7 years. I mean, we've suffered with regimes that 5 years. How much more would we in regimes of 7 years? And the leadership, they don't suffer. It's the people that suffer. And while we suffer and they gain, it's actually at our own expense, at someone's gain that we do not know who they really are. So I think it's a call for us. They say, do not awake the sleeping giant, but it's like the sleeping giant is waking up. Africa is rising, Africa is waking up, and it's like they're in a rush, you know? So maybe we can look at that sort of bigger picture and be vigilant for ourselves as a people. Do not assume. Do not quickly join huyu ni wetu, sijui, sorry to say, but Morara ni wetu and all this. Man, if you agree on a few things, agree on those things from, you know, informed points of view. If you guys are going to court, maybe to say, let us all go there, let us do the right things, let us follow the procedures, because these guys, they don't respect the constitution, at least to the extent that tunajua, and they can also use it to their advantage, like they have used it right now. It's for their convenience of sorts. So my call to you all, as you have always been, as we have always been, let's continue to be vigilant. These guys would love it when we are weakened, when we are divided. That's where they thrive. One thing they know, if we are united and we have over solid front and we are determined to a cause, there's no force that is greater. The greatest forces in this world is the people, fire, and water. If those are things you can't go again. Sorry, I think let me just close that. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate
it. Thank you for that, Gimuka. We'll be going back to you guys in a few, but I want also to hear from the new speakers in the form of Nyaradue, Ian, and Paul. Nyaradue, how are you doing?
I'm okay, Peter. Today I'm really mad. Today I'm really breathing fire. I am so disappointed with this parliament, because I want us as Kenyans to first look at the precedents we are creating for the country and for our constitution. These constitutional offices are not jokes. They are put in our constitution for a reason. But what we have done today, trust me, with this Kenya of today, tomorrow, a governor will sleep and dream that his or her deputy is strangling her in the dream. Trust me, the deputy will be impeached. And therefore, we are creating new offices called use and dump. These deputy offices in Kenya are constitutional and must be respected. You people, you will agree with me today. It is obvious that the political class have the luxury to prioritize their fights over our challenges as a people. And this arrogance to the people is not going to end well. If our economic situation is not addressed, we are not only heading to economic collapse as a country, but we are also going to heading towards collapse of law and order as witnessed today. And I plead with all of us in here, those who love this country, we must continue pressing for the departure of this government at the earliest opportunity. And as a country, by the way, I don't like Gachagua. I don't like him. The way he's, when he got in office, his utterances were just off for me. But truth be told, as a country, we need to develop a culture of fairness and justice, regardless of the subject under scrutiny. From the allegations, the politicians or that Kitui MP brought, if you look at, if we were offering honest judgment, then surely those are not impeachable offenses, if you ask me. I stand guided, I stand corrected, but I feel whatever the 11 were not really impeachable, because for me, they sounded more like gossip, according to how Gachagua substantiated his evidence vis-a-vis the MP. And look at the way the speaker behaved. Oh God, the speaker was openly biased. And by the way, he erred by allowing MPs to act just like some lynch mob. They engaged in merciless character assassination against the DP on issues that were not even part of the motion. The DP in himself had no mechanism or even opportunity to respond to this allegation. And so for me, I felt this was more of character assassination of our DP. And therefore, as I conclude, I feel that as a people, let us send this government home as early as yesterday. We cannot continue like this, and this disregard of the Constitution is going to hurt us more, because we are going to devolve, what is it called, dictatorship, from the national level to the county level. That is to say, we are removing leaders from human to animals. I rest my case. Thank you, Pipita.
All right. Thank you, Nyaradue. You kept it under 4 minutes. That is commendable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Home Run PP. It comes to you each and every weekday from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. East African time. But for the past 2 days, that is yesterday and today, we have been at the National Assembly, of course, following up on the impeachment motion against Rigathi Gachagwa today. And we have been here for a long time. And yesterday we were just preparing for it, and we ended it at midnight. Hey, Manieka high press. What am I paying for, guys? Are you trying to tell me something? Anyway, today we're also trying to at least get more opinion and, of course, more people speaking to us. What do you feel about that impeachment? Does it mean something to us? And, of course, what does it open to us? Of course, our show is supported by you, the listener. If you like what I'm doing, there's a tip line. 0721948229 is the number where you drop in your support. Ian Joroge, how are you doing? Ian, are you there?
Pipita?
Yes.
Can you hear me? First of all, I want to greet my colleagues there. Then I appreciate my previous speaker, that is Nyaradue, for her remarks. Then, for this motion about impeachment, I don't, miss just jaipendelea kwangu. For those 11 grounds zenye amemwekea hapo, miss sijaona kitu yenye amefanya tinaweza fanya impeachiwe. Then, for the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula, hapa mimi pia nimeona hajafanya kweli. Yaani hakuna venye wewe unaweza kuwa judge lakini you are celebrating your partner to be impeached. Then kuna huu jamaa anaitwa aje, huu previous speaker alikuwa anaitwa nani? Let me confirm here. Gimuka amefanya remarks zingine hapo ati he's about the impeachment because Gachagua anaongea mambo ya mountain. Hiyo ni sawa, hata yeye Pipita, for your correction to this, kama yeye maybe uko leader mahali fulani, si you have the right to kutetea watu wako, si ndio Pipita?
Yeah, but sasa unajua wewe ni deputy president, unafaa utetee the whole country, ama mimi nafikiria aje? Wewe ukikuwa deputy president, you're not a deputy president from where you come from. Ama ungekuwa tu MP.
Yeah.
Ama unaniambia nini?
Yeah, sikatai, lakini unajua Gachagua alisema hapo jana, I think I followed that interview, akasema yeye si ati anatetea Mount Kenya juu yeye ni president, ni deputy president wa Mount Kenya. Hapana, yeye anatetea watu, kila mtu yani. Lakini sasa hii impeachment, mimi kwangu, for example, huyo jamaa anaitwa Motuse, mpaka vitu zingine naona anakorektiwa hapo, anaambiwa sijui shamba ilikuwa mahali fulani. For me, I want to congratulate the deputy president. Ameonyeshana yeye ni mtu mwenye yani ako na confidence yake ya kuongea, lakini wengine hapo wanastuka. Why are MPs wanauliza president aongezee security, then they are thinking they are doing the right thing. That means hakuna kitu wanafanya chenye wanaona ni kizuri kwa Kenya ama kwa Mkenya mwenzake. Thank you for your time. Mimi sina mambo mingi.
Asante Ian kwa hiyo submission yako. Wewe unajua kidogo nitoe manyaunyo, ungesikia tu hapo. Yeah. Unajua hawezi sema eti deputy president ni wa Mrima peke yake.
Bona nipewe nyaunyo Pipita.
Kwa sababu unajua deputy president according to the constitution is the second in command in the country and he serves the whole country. Sawa?
The other correction ingine ungenipigia nyaunyo. Unasikia ungenipigia.
Hiyo peke yake.
Sawa. Lakini tunastahili kuwa united hata kama mambo ya impeachment yanaendelea. Hiyo haituhusu sasa sana. Wacha waendelee na venye wanataka.
Haya, asante sana Ian for your submission. Wacha tusikie kutoka kwa Paul Nguni. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm fine.
Karibu kwenye show. Tuombe.
Kwanza, the entire process is political. There's nothing like, and maybe let me remind you, in as much as unasema this seat, the deputy president represents the entire nation. Let me remind you, when these guys walikuwa wanatafuta the running mate, that is the Ruto and the Raila and the rest, their mouth was on the Mount Kenya. Walikuwa wanajua without the Mount Kenya votes hawagewin. So number one, ndo maana
Paul, you have muted your mic, bwana.
Sorry. So number one, that's why Martha Karua, hata kama hakuna kura alikuwa analeta, they had to put her sababu ni wa Mount Kenya. So this thing political, it's all about ethnicity. Now we are the ones who are supposed to change it, and that's why ukiona these guys, the way the guy is talking, ndivyo walikuwa wanaongea hata before. Another issue ni issue ya Gladys Sholei, yeah? You see, the same guy who is calling Gachagua corrupt is the same guy mwenye alimrepresent kwa case ya corruption ile ya 200 million. So these guys are not being serious. They are not being genuine. The entire process was just shaboric. Yani hakukuwa na
unmute it, bwana Paul.
Paul tengeneza simu bwana.
Paul, kwani ana mute mic?
Anamute kwa nini? Kwani anaogopa?
All right. I don't think Paul Abu, refresh your microphone and talk to us. Brian King, habari.
Poa sana.
Maoni yako ni gani?
Mimi venye wamefanya parliament leo, wamefanya ujinga kabisa. Unajua kuchuja mtu, hao watu walikuwa wote pamoja. Alafu pia unaona ni kama Rigathi alikuwa anajaribu kutetea upande wa Mountain. Maana ukiangalia ma-CEO wengi wa Kenya sasa, ukianza kwa Port wapi, Ruto ameweka watu wake. So Rigathi ni kama alikuwa anaona huyu jamaa anataka kunionyesha mimi unyonge. Na wakati wakiomba kura walikuwa ni kama kwa maoni yake alikuwa anaona itakuwa 50-50. Labda Mountain 50 na uko 50. So baadaye Ruto anataka sasa kumuonyesha unyonge. But vile ameenda ni sawa, wacha aende. Si tubaki tunaongoja 2027 tutafanya chini.
Kwani nini inaendelea? Ama umemaliza Brian? Jamani. Hey.
This is the home run with
Let's hear from Steve Juma, then all things tusikie kutoka kwa all things. Steve, how are you doing?
Thank you bro. Unajua nilikuwa nasikia huyo jamaa akiongea, huyo brother hapo. Unajua sasa tuko Kenya, labda ashakuwa abducted, so tunaomba ako safe. Okay, I'm not a happy man this evening, and in fact I began to be very worse from yesterday. Things are not adding up in this country. Things are not really working for us, especially Kenyans who send their representative to the August House to represent their views or to deliberate and debate on their issues. Parliamentarians have shown us that their interest comes first, their ego comes first. Whoever they are playing their tune comes first. In fact, Parliament works for the executive, not Kenyans. Kenyans are on their own. Our agenda are not pursued in the Parliament. I don't know whether impeachment of Rigathi has already sorted issues to do with the health. Now, I don't know whether it has sorted issues to do with the school fees, colleges. I don't know. But you could see the zeal, the passion, the drive, the ego, the attendance. And the other time when we were dying on the street, some politicians were not in Parliament for their obvious reasons. Now, impeaching Rigathi as if Rigathi is the head of state. I hear people talk, they're trying to pull issues to do with the women. Mara Rigathi has no respect to women. Come on, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying this to defend Rigathi. I want Ruto out. Once Ruto is out, Rigathi is automatically out. We can't blame Rigathi as if he's the problem in our country. He's not. A brother of mine has just shared his view here. Rigathi speaks the way he said it even during campaign. And we cannot say that Rigathi has acquired wealth through proxies, through what? Kwani nani yako kwa hiyo serikali ambaye si mwizi? Nani hajaiba kwa hiyo serikali? Ruto akona nini sahi? So then you say Rigiji is tribal. Ebu chukua hiyo kiti ya deputy president, si Wahindi pia ni wa Kenya, wamekuwa registered kama Kenyan sasa. The Nubians wengine wanaitwa kina nani, wale wa Mozambique ama Zimbabwe. Someone can stand being corrected, ama aenda peleka pale kwa minority kama Pokomo pale, pea deputy ni Mpokomo, usikie hiyo Mount Kenya italipuka ama italipuka, if you mean Kenyans are not tribal. Look at Minister of Energy, for example, and Petroleum. Hiyo KPC ni wakina nani wako hapo kama si wakale wote? Na sisi tunapangiwa kwenda kuosha wazee sijui wapi Saudi Arabia, sijui wapi. Na pia ni story tu za jaba. Yaani unadanganywa, hiyo kudanganywa bado pia ni mchezo tu. Yaani huwezi amini rais anasemanga ukweli saa ngapi. Alafu saa hii MPs mpaka opposition ambao pia siku hizi si opposition, yaani watu wamekaa tu kama watoto tu wana celebrate. Now Peter, this is something I really want you to help me champion for. I just think that is high time all those who are working for government, I would say this in other forums, all those civil servants and state officers on that matter should go to, or when they are sick, they should go to public hospitals. Kama we ni governor, aende Mama Lucy, asiende Aga Khan. We can't pay you through our taxes, give you a good medical cover. Wewe ukiwa mgonjwa, wewe unaenda wapi? Aga Khan. Wewe unaenda kwa those high-end hospitals, alafu kwa the media unatupigia stories za jaba vile you've taken drugs to Mama Lucy, umepeleka nini Mbagathi, madaktari umepeleka, na wewe mwenyewe hujai kanyaga hizo vitu, hujai kuwa admitted kwa hizo vitu ambazo ziko death trap. We need to have a bill or a law that now compels all state officers and civil servants. Because there's no way you tell me you work for the government to ensure that the facility, you put up the infrastructure of the government. Somebody works for the Minister of Health, lakini hajaingia kwa hospitali ya public hiyo anafanyia kazi. Someone works for the Minister of Education. But they have never gone to. These are
continuous.
Yes.
Continue. That was someone else. Continue.
Thank you. Someone works for the Ministry of Health, bro. Lakini huyu mtu hajawahi enda hata kwa hospitali ya nini ya serikali, haijui. Mtu anafanya kwa Ministry of Education, ambao wanapanga vile watoto wengi wanasoma, wanafanya nini, lakini yeye watoto wake wamepelekwa Australia. Anaongea vitu tu ambaye anasoma kwa gazeti, ndiye anajibu nayo watu. Alafu akienda pale, sisi tunapiga makofi. Unapiga makofi, umetozwa ushuru, alafu mtu anakuja kufungulia barabara, wewe unapiga makofi na pesa ni yako. Who are we and where are we? So I think this one will bring equity. Asijui kama mimi ndio najielewa mwenyewe. Wewe uandikwe na serikali, upewe pesa, unapata mshahara ya serikali, alafu hapo serikali imekupatia medical cover. Hii medical cover, ukiwa mgonjwa unapeleka pesa kwa private sector, Aga Khan, unaipeleka sijui wapi. Supeleke hii pesa basi kwa serikali, ndio hiyo pesa pia ipatikane, izidi kutengeneza hiyo hospitali. Na pia sasa ukienda kwa hiyo hospitali ya nini ya serikali ambayo unaifanyia kazi, ndio utajua ile vitu ambayo haiko kule. Uende pale udungwe tu maji, upewe Panadol ama Brufen, wewe pia uone kitu watu wanafanya. Iwe inakuwa ni process kubwa sana. Kama wewe ni ofisa wa serikali, unataka kuwa moved from a public hospital to a private for further treatment, iwe ni kibarua ya kuandika mafomu kama zile za insurance, wewe unaambiwa bado wanasubiri approval, ubaki hapo bado kama bado tunasubiri approval. That is when these people will learn Lakini kama saa hii mpaka marafiki zangu wabunge mimi najua, mpaka ninawaambia Buda hii ni mbaya, jamaa anasema tu yes. Ni kama Rigiji ndio issue yetu Kenya hii. Mimi ukiniuliza, Rigiji hana makosa. No one is not tribal. Sorry, I'm a Luo, and it's the wrong thing here to say in such forums. But I will defend my Luo akiwa shida sana. I'm first an African, I go to a Kenyan, from Kenyan I will go back to my Luo, back to my wherever charity begins at home. That is for nature of human being. You will defend your people first. But he only failed to know that he's a public figure. Angepunguza maneno fulani. But all said and done, sisi tuko, mimi nataka Ruto atoke like yesterday. I am sick and tired. But we pray God is on our side. Lakini na wabunge tuwapatie mtihani. Kujeni na mabili sahi tupeleke pale. Mtu tu amuke tu na mabili na tupeleke pale, watu wastie time tuwasalamie. That is all.
I don't think there's anything you're going to get from that bunge, from what I've seen. Yeah, I don't think there's anything you're going to get from that bunge. It is the hope that kills. All things, Nungari, habari yako?
Hi, Pipita. Thank you for the opportunity. Nimekuwa na shida ya mic, but I think sahi mnanisikia.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Let me just give my 2 cents about this whole circus that's going on in our country right now. First of all, I'm very, very, very disappointed in the way things are. Just like any other Kenyan, our country, we gave our country to the dogs. And now we are here, like we look stranded and we look lost. But this is what I would like to say. I'm hearing people talking. People are bitter. People are educated. People are they have an understanding of what's going on. But what lacks is an agenda to take people back to the streets, because everybody's in pain. And the only thing that's going to save us is the streets. We can come to spaces, we rant. We can go to, in every space that comes, you hear people talking, how they are disappointed, how they are suffering. I know someone who, at the beginning of this regime, had like 8 matatus. And as we speak right now, amebaki na matatu 3 kwa barabara. That's how bad it's getting. Hata anashindwa familia atalisha na nini. But now, as much as we are ranting, issue ya Rigiji, that's not our fight. That's not our fight. So we should be focusing on ourselves. Today we have learned something. Hawa watu leo walikuwa wamejaa parliament, meaning when they have something that favors them, they can work. They can work day and night to make and within a very short time. Umeona vile issue ya Gachagwa imekuwa so rushed, because there are people, they are benefiting from the outcome, or whatever, whether they're trying to divide us, whether they're trying to get someone who is not going to disagree with Ruto, because Rigiji is going to speak his mind. Whether Ruto itamfurahisha ma itamfurahisha, that's for a fact. So ule mtu mwenye ataekwa hapo anafaa aingie akijua he was not chosen by the people, because Rigiji alikuwa kwa ballot, and the reason why most people, especially from the mountain, while they vote for this regime, it was because Rigiji, wanajua history, alikuwa Dio, Nyeri, and the brother, kuna history kubwa yao people from Nyeri, and now watu wanajua that. So ndio maana people cast that vote. So ni sawa wanaweza mseparate, and that is their business and whatever they are benefiting from that. But why are people not coming out to address like the real issues? Tuna focus on what this parliament is doing. Whatever they're doing, clearly it's not for us. But what do we want as a people? What do we want? First of all, this parliament ingeenda nyumbani kitambo sana. Ile wakati tulianza maandamano, that was the chance we had. We had a very good chance to send them home. because after ile maandamano ya 25th na watu wakakuja wakasema dissolve cabinet iende home, the next thing we should have done was to push for dissolve parliament, but hiyo imepita. Why can't the movement now move to having an IEBC, to having the parliament set up an IEBC for us? Because bila the parliament, honestly, the IEBC kama haijakuwa set up, it's going to be hard to dissolve the parliament. According to our constitution, that's going to be hard. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be impossible. Let me say impossible. So why are people not pushing for the IEBC? Because that's the only thing that's going to save us. And if we don't take action, then tutakuwa hapa space mpaka God knows when. Because I can assure you, the same way today, not today, this whole week wamekuwa like about Gachagwa, they already have a motion in parliament to extend their time from 5 years to 7 years. So what makes you think that's not going to happen in the next 1 week? Na tuko hapa, we are very, very comfortable. We are very comfortable tukisema, oh, no, ati Mungu atatusaidia. Let me tell you, if we don't take action ourselves, hey, tutaona kivumbi, because at year 2027, there will not be an election. I can assure you of that. And people, until watu wasikia wako uncomfortable enough, kwa sababu what this government is doing, it's pushing our limits. Waone how far we can go. Wanajua tutakuja to run space, and there is really nothing much we can do about it. So I want everybody up at Quay space to go around to 200 and almost 300 people. So why can't you start wewe mwenyewe? And kama unajua some bigwig, why can't you help us push the agenda to have an IEBC in place? Because leo tumeona these people can work, and they can work fast. But until tuwa push vile tuliwa push year 27 and the cabinet was dissolved, the same way we can push them to have our agendas set on the table, discussed, and wapitishe vile tunataka, kwa sababu hawaizi pitisha bila sisi kuwa push. That is one thing for a fact. Also, I don't know, we should make the ground so hostile for them. I don't know why we are making them have peace. It should be made so hostile that these people know that hatutaki mchezo. Why are we making them, mtu anaenda analala vizuri inafika asubuhi, alafu anaenda parliament kuanza kufanya vituko huko? Why are we letting, yani zile mashida zenye tuko nazo sisi ndio tunasikia uchungu, but wao wanaenda huko wanaiba pesa, wanafanya nini, and we are making them feel so comfortable. That should not be happening. We should not let that happen for another day. And starting tomorrow, not even starting tomorrow, starting today, we should start pushing for an IEBC immediately. And immediately that IEBC is set up, that parliament should go home immediately. It should be dissolved immediately. Because our watu leo tumeona what they can do. That means starting tomorrow, a motion is already in place to extend their term. So that means 2027, hakuna election tunaenda kufanya. So it's either we fight back, ama we continue ranting on these spaces until there is really nothing much we can do about it. So it's either now or right now. And hizi zingine wanafanya, hizo ni side
1 minute.
Okay, hata namalizia. Hizo zingine ni side shows. Na the agenda right now, tunafaa kuwa na a very clear agenda. We want an IEBC in place, period. Tukipata IEBC, that is it. And until that happens, we should not let these people rest. Whether it's your area MP, especially your area MP, we are in different places as we speak. We should not let these people rest. We elected them. Wanafaa wajue sisi ndio wanafanya kazi. And if you're comfortable with what is going on, wacha tuendelee kukua tu hivyo, kwa sababu asiwezi fanya kazi peke yangu, huwezi fanya peke yako. What they're trying to do is to divide us. But if we unite once again, I know this is going to be possible. This is going to be, usisikize hizo side shows zao, sijui mnaelewa what's going on right now. But if we focus on IEBC, I can assure you in the next 1 month kutakuwa na change. But wewe, mimi, tuanze kupush mambo ya IEBC. Please, I am begging you, can we get this done? IEBC. Sahi hakufai kuwa na talk ingine until an IEBC is set in place. Those are my sentiments. Thank you, Pipita, for hosting the space today. And okay, nita drop two nisikize what people have to say, but I want you please to push hii agenda ya IEBC. Hizo
All
vitu
right.
zingine.
Okay, thank you for that. And of course, I think you can see that list that I've put out I'm coming up with a new focused list of points to address. And of course, number one on that is the reconstitution of IEBC. Number two is SHIF. Number three is Adani airport takeover. Yeah, so those are the things that I have on my focused list right now. Request microphone. If you have not seen me accept your mic, the high chances are I have not seen it. I am not censoring you. Hi, we are on the final hour of Home Run with PPT. These 2 days have been very heavy for me, but tomorrow we'll be back on normal programming at 4 p.m. East African time. Nimesikia fatigue na nusu. But we still have 1 hour to the top, to midnight, where we'll end it for today. It request the microphone and let me hear from you. Of course, if you are joining us, the real Joe, habari yako?
I'm very good, Pipita. How are
well,
you?
Bro.
Okay, thank you for the mic. I've heard sentiments from previous speakers. I wish to beseech the other speakers who have just spoken and are saying they are sad about the current state of affairs and the impeachment of the deputy president. I wish to beseech them and ask them to be happy instead of being sad. Let's stop this narrative of political process and whatever any other process that we'll ever talk about. That is a narrative, an ideology, and I stand corrected. But what is really politics? Politics is basically activities that relate to matters governance. I mean, that is just the basic definition of politics. So anything to do with governance is politics in itself. But we don't have to wish away everything and say that is a political process. Removal of the deputy president is a constitutional process. It is there in our constitution under Article 150, and it is clearly stipulated on grounds which a deputy president can be removed. But I also understand that we are trying to look at the manner in which he's being impeached. And I always say, whenever your enemies are fighting, don't try to strengthen either of them. Let them slaughter each other, let them kill each other, let them weaken each other. They are both our enemies, aren't they? We want both of them to go, don't we? That is what we want. If Rigathi goes, we are left with one person to deal with. Of course, they are going to appoint a new person. But let me tell you one thing. It is very, very important and fundamental that we allow this process to continue. And I'm very happy that the impeachment has gone through. Even though it is also such a circus that someone like Didmas Baraza, who is facing murder charges, corruption charges, can say that the deputy president has grossly violated the constitution. It's laughable. I really don't care about that. My main actually idea is the removal of deputy president has occurred. It has occurred. Has he not violated the constitution? He has. I mean, we don't need 11 grounds to impeach the deputy president. We don't need 11 grounds. The deputy president holds an office of the highest, or actually the highest office in land, because he is the principal assistant to the president. That is one office as per our constitution. And therefore it is the highest office in land. This office is required to be a symbol of national unity as per our constitution. Just one ground is enough. We are used to looking for hard evidence. Our constitution is very clear. Our constitution requires us to select leaders who represent us based on chapter 6. And whenever we miss that point, we will always have these issues. We cannot now start to say that the wealth, we cannot discuss the wealth of the deputy president, yet it has been in question even before he took over the office. It was in question even before he took over office. He was in prison for that. He was in jail for that. We cannot question that, but he was given a chance to become a deputy president. Yet, chapter 6, leadership and integrity requires us to select leaders based on just basic integrity and leadership principles. And we have failed to do this, yet we complain later on. It is wrong. Right now, and I will borrow this from Martin Luther King. We are made by history. We have had a general election that has been annulled, and that is why matters IBC have been to very great concern in our country, because we had an annulled general election. If we have a deputy president impeached, that is history. It will make us, the next person coming to hold that office will know how to conduct themselves. When we have an impeached deputy president, we are just one step closer to having an impeached president. It is one step closer to having an impeached president, which is something that, a discussion that if you try today to discuss the impeachment of a president in our country, you are slaughtered in broad daylight. It is such a sensitive matter to discuss. No member of parliament in this parliament will ever try, even those who voted, the 44 who voted against the impeachment of Gachagua, who support Gachagua, none of them will try to bring that motion. I promise you, because it has always been perceived to be a very sensitive issue in our country. But with the impeachment of a deputy president, we are a step close to achieving this. We only need to ensure that our constitution does not want us to talk about things, corruption, on a leader like a deputy president. Because before we give a leader like a deputy president a chance, or a member of parliament, or an MCA, we need to scrutinize them based on chapter 6. But even so, we ignore some very fundamental articles in our constitution. For example, Article 10, that talks about national values and principles of governance. Basic principles of governance. I'm landing with Peter, thank you. Basic principles of governance: human dignity, patriotism, national unity. We miss those. If you go to Article 73, responsibility of this leadership, these leaders that we give opportunities, they are supposed to be servants of the people, not bosses. But we having bosses. These are articles that all these leaders are violated. And just based on that, even before without talking about corruption, these are grounds of impeaching these people. Because that is all leadership is about as per our constitution. Therefore, whenever this process has gone through, let it go through. I support it. And I look forward to a day when we'll have an impeached president. Let us not beat our chest here, because this has been the issue we've had in this movement. We want the big wins, and we cannot get them the way you want them to be gotten. You have to face reality. You have to face the reality. We will not get there as the parliament is currently constituted right now. The president has already mobilized majority, and the president has whipped the members of parliament to impeach the deputy president. It is quite unfortunate that the members of parliament are whipped by the president. If we had the members of parliament work as per Article 95, they would have even reviewed the conduct of the president himself. The first person who should have been impeached, we all know, should have been the president. But it is the deputy president who has gone. Well and good, let him go. From there, we'll chant our ways from there. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
All right. Thank you, the one and only Real Joe. I don't want to go beyond midnight. I will have burnout. I've been live since 10 a.m. streaming that speech. And I've also been here now giving you about 4 hours of submission just to hear from you. So tukwe considerate. Naona Gimuka ameinua mkono juu. I'm going to go to Gimuka and then Nyaradue and then I think Mr. I don't know. Ameenda huyo Daniel. Aitwa Mr. Kilimani or something. Mr. Kilimanjaro Waithaka. All right, so Gibuka.
Kindly, let me go after Nyaradue.
Okay, and also reconnect your mic. I feel like it's imeenda mbali. Nyaradue.
Peter, it's Nyaraduen. Please pronounce that last N. Adue is something really, really.
Oh, adue ni kitu ingine different. Najua naweza kuwa naongea matusi kwa show bwana.
I want to engage. My sister talked and told us, together with Juma, I think the last speaker, who just said, this is not our fight. By the way, if you look at my page, I'm the one who kept on joking, like, this is not my war, and I'm not really getting involved. But now, I want us to look at the long-term effect. Let's not look at what happened today. Let's not focus on the war between Gachagua and Ruto and whoever. Let's not focus on the politicians. But I plead with us that we focus on what this is doing to the future Kenya. Assume Gachagua goes to Senate and he's impeached in Senate, and then he goes to court, and then the court upholds his case. What kind of country are we going to have? I want you to just picture that. 2 presidents, because Gachagua is now going to just stamp and feel like he is untouchable because the courts have upheld his appeal. And assume it is the other way around. Gachagua loses both the Senate and the court. And then there's this dictator we are going to create. And the dictator, we have seen what he has done so far. Let's look at police brutality. Let's look at him selling our land. As in, tukiona. Si ati ata tumelala, tunaona na anauza Kenya. As in, can you people focus on who we are creating? Because what we have done at Parliament today is creating dictatorship. And this dictatorship is not only going to be here up at the national level, but it's also going to trickle down to the county governments, whereby the governor ataiba and the deputy cannot cough, cannot question, cannot do anything. Because if the deputy tries to question